welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage, and this is a testing league for the Steel City Spectacular, an event that, as always, has happened in the past by the time you see this video, but for me is just a few days away, and I need to compete for a Black Lotus. That's a pretty big prize. The last big Vintage event for me was the NYSE Open, where I played the Esper Lurrus Paradoxical Outcome deck to a top 8 finish. In the time since that tournament, it's been a few months. Two things have happened. One, the metagame has adopted main deck hate. You'll notice there is a Null Rod in the main of this deck. There are Void Mirrors in White Initiative. There's Null Rods everywhere. People are pretty harsh on PO right now. Another thing happened is Tezzeret Cruel Captain was printed, who at this moment, by the time you watch this, we may have more information, but at this moment, Edge of Eternities has been out for about a week and a half on Magic Online, and Tezzeret debuted to mixed results. It is pretty good in the spots where it's obviously pretty good, like when you have a Time Vault in play. But also, is it worth not playing Lurrus, one of the most broken Magic cards ever printed? Do the Turbo Vault Key decks need Tezzeret? Or were they already good at doing a thing? Those questions remain. And here I am, in the middle, thinking maybe I'll just be the bad guy. Or the good guy? I guess it depends. In Vintage, this feels like the bad guy, I'm going to be honest. Lurrus Control is the best deck by the numbers, has been for quite some time, like a year or more. I top-8'd Eternal Weekend last year with Esper Lurrus, and the deck remains right where it belongs. The appeal of this deck is that it just makes your opponent slow down. You have 7 main deck Force of Wills, you have Swords to Plowshares, just the best removal spell ever printed. We get a suite of Soft Permission with Spell Pierces, Flusterstorms, Mental Missteps, stuff like that. You also get the lock piece of Lavinia, which means you don't have to play a bunch of Null Rods. I played Dimir Lurrus off camera in a testing league, and it felt terrible. It's obviously not. I played a list that just won a Vintage challenge, but it had a bunch of Null Rods in the main, and in a format where everyone else is packing Null Rod, if you don't queue into exactly PO, you don't even want this thing. And Lavinia is like a Null Rod, functions similarly in a lot of the same places, except it's asymmetrical, and it can attack. I like Lavinia a lot. Psychic Frog is your primary win con. You have a bunch of ways to reload cards. And, of course, looming in the background is always Lurrus, which makes it okay to do things like cast 3 Force of Will or Negations in a game and go down 3 cards, because Lurrus will eventually get them back. This is the safest deck in the format, and safe is what I want when I'm playing for a Black Lotus. I'm going to take this for a spin right now. If it goes well, I'll probably just lock this for Steel City and as soon as I'm done recording, go build it in real life. But if it doesn't go well, I have some more soul searching to do. Let's figure it out. This is Esper Lurrus. I'm on the play in round 1 against Penguin Turtle. Everyone say hi to Penguin Turtle. They're a fan of the show. I am going to mulligan this hand. This doesn't cast any spells. I can counter 1 spell and wasteland my opponent, but then what? And here's this main deck Null Rod, the card that I mentioned in the deck tech that I'm not even that impressed with. And here it is gumming up space. The 6 does not look much better. I have 2 wastelands instead of 1, which means I could actually cast the Null Rod. I think I just have to go to 5. It sucks because you choose this deck for how stable it is, and here I am just mulling to oblivion. Alright, we found some mana. I think I'm going to put Tundra and Demonic Tutor to the bottom, and just try to go coast to coast with this frog. I could also put Force of Negation, Tundra to the bottom, and try to use Spell Pierce to do Force of Negation's job with 1 card. Opponent did not reveal a Lurrus. I do think Frog is better than Demonic Tutor in most matchups, if I have to pick between one or the other. Alright, here we go. I'm not happy about it, but that's how multi-5s work. Sewer. Treasure Cruise sucks. A Forest. Interesting. Oh god. Well, there's no way that card could be good for me. I'll just force that and then go all in on this frog. Oh, alright. We get to know. Probe you. They've got Crop Rotation, Wasteland, Thespian Stage, Vexing Bauble, another Wasteland, and a Dark Depths. Alright, well, It was definitely right to fight over the fast bond, and we'll see if Psychic Frog can solo this game through no other resources. Wasteland, Vexing Bauble, and taking me off black. You got it. Oh my god. Well, that's interesting, because that actually deals with Vexing Bauble. It also deals with Merit Lage. Now I don't have to make that decision. Wow. Oh, right. Yes, I do, because they can still waste me. All right, I am going to Prismatic End the Vexing Bauble while I can. This one of Prismatic Ending in the deck doing its job. And they do have crop rotation stage depths over there. Like deciding whether they're going to mana deny me or do something else is actually meaningful. Mana denial appears to be the strat. And this is why Psychic Frog is so busted. I got basically nothing going on, but I'm still thriving here. Look at this shit. Feels good. I actually feel like I'm ahead now. At some point, they'll just start playing out lands, and the Merit Lage becomes a problem. I will have to figure that out, but I have 5 Wastelands and 3 Swords of Plowshares in my deck. Attack with Frog. These Force of Wills don't actually help me in the Merit Lage fight. Okay, they can make Merit Lage next turn. Well, I don't really want to play against that. I'll deal with it. I do have the imminent problem right now, though, of Merit Lage is coming. I'm fetching just a Thin, which is not something I normally sign off on, but right now it's important. I can't get Frog to 8/8, but Time Walk is a pretty great find. It's just a redraw on any of the important cards I'm looking for. Right, Cycle Lorien revealed. Underground Sea, Time Walk. Come on, deck. We need Wasteland. I will not play that because it's not Wasteland. I could still draw Wasteland this turn. Swords of Plowshares. Okay. This game's going to take a long time, but we are still in it. I could have bought Lurrus there to put them under more pressure, but I like the idea of having Hardcast Force and Negation up. There's not a lot of things I really care about here. End step fetch, get another Tundra. Alright, I'm going to attack. This thing's going to happen regardless. Might as well make it happen in combat on my turn. And if they don't act, I have a live draw at Wasteland here. Oh, wow. Could have played around it. Strip Mine's in play now, which means I've got a lot of options. There's not actually anything in my graveyard for Lurrus, so I'm just going to leave my mana up here. Seeing the Prismatic Ending is interesting. That's a one of, but my opponent doesn't necessarily know that. Bowmaster caused some problems. They do have enough mana now to make Merit Lage and have crop rotation up, but that's where the Force of Wills kick in. Oh yeah, keep it going. Real clock, real disruption. If they gain 20 life at some point, that's not great for me, but the shields keep going up. Another Wasteland. I cast Psychic Frog on turn 2. It attacked for the first time on turn 3. It's currently turn 9. Oh, I've drawn 6 cards off of this Psychic Frog. Remember when I bought him Demonic Tutor because Psychic Frog's better? This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so they're copying their depths. The way to do this is to let the copy resolve, and then in response to this trigger, you waste the new depths. And then they crop rotate. And then you cast Force of Negation the hard way. I don't think I need white this turn cycle. I might still play the Bowmaster, though, depending on what they show me. Courser of Crufix. Nice. All right. Well, I can Swords to Plowshares that. All right, fine. You can have a Courser of Crufix. Or I'm going to have Excavator on top of the deck. Gaining a little extra life over there. End step, Bowmaster. 1 to you. If I attack with everything, if I jump Frog, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can put them to 2 here. Opponent mentioned in chat this deck is powerless. That's awesome. We're always looking for powerless options, and if that fast one had resolved on turn 1, I would be dead 100,000 years ago. Alright, I was doing combat math. How does this work? Nobody knows. Yeah, I can get in for 7 here, which is not lethal. If I plow the Courser, I can get in for 5. Still have Strip Mine and Force of Will up. There is 1 more land in my deck to fetch. And I'm going to plow Courser. It's a lot of Force of Wills. Okay, I'm going to pass. I'll leave up Strip Mine. They're drawing Ramen Up Excavator, which I can counter, and also kill them through. Drag a card with Rising Canopy is going to light them up like Christmas. But you got to do what you got to do. Alright, they didn't find what they were looking for. Yeah, I mean, Mull to 5, Psychic Frog with Force backup. Game. That's how we do it around here. Alright, my sideboard is not really built for lands. They do use their graveyard. They have both Ramen Up Excavator and Crucible of Worlds, with a bunch of crazy fast bond loops that can go infinite in a variety of ways. Fragmentize could kill fast bond or Crucible. Like if we want to pretend that I'm still alive, if fast bond is in play for a turn. I don't think I want Vexing Bauble at all. I don't want Null Rod. And knowing they're a powerless deck is useful. Mental Misstep's insane. Every card in their deck that matters costs 1. That's the crop rotation. That's the fast bond. I don't really care about Gitaxian Probe. Lavinia may or may not actually do anything. I could bring in another Plow. We saw some random creatures like Coursers and Raminaps. Is that better than something like Lavinia? It probably is. Frogs and Bowmasters are my win con. Snapcaster is great. Opponent wants me to make clear to the audience that this was the deck that got second at the Hunter Burton Memorial Tournament, and they did not create the deck. They don't want credit. Okay, Consign to Memory. Lands does frequently have triggers in it. Things like Urza Saga. We didn't see that game, but we have to imagine they play them. This doesn't stop Merit Lage from coming into play. It could counter Crucible of Worlds. I don't think I'm going to mess around with Consign to Memory. Yeah, I don't have a lot for this, but as we saw Game 1, if their deck doesn't have its engine going, it flounders out pretty quick, and we do have a lot of interaction for that engine. Okay. Psychic Frog, Force of Will. We've seen this before. I will keep. Once again, no way, Jose. Sucks to see Time Walk go, but you got to pay the piper. All right, I have another Force now. If I lose Frog, I basically have nothing going on, but it's better than getting fast bonded. Okay, that card I don't mind at all. Undercity Sewers, save me. Mox Sapphire, perfect timing. Get rid of that. Gitaxian Probe. I'm actually going to save that for the Force rather than cast it. I don't care what's in their hand as long as it doesn't kill Psychic Frog. And it's probably bad at killing Psychic Frog if I can force it. Alright, well, I can't force that one. And now they have a Waste Lock going. But Psychic Frog is a beater. Oh, alright. I can deal with that now. I could just Demonic for Plow. Yeah. Vintage cards. They're so good. This is my one and only white source, and there's a Wasteland face up, but I'm doing it now. My things are happening. There we go. Trust in Psychic Frog. Courser of Curfix, Endurance on top. Strip Mine. Alright, well, my white man is in trouble again. Would they trade their Courser for 3 cards out of my hand if I attack? Yes, and I wouldn't trade 3 cards for Courser. That means I'm jumping here. Attack. Force. This can fight over Endurance, or I could waste the Boseiju and make Endurance worse. They probably waste me back, but I think that's okay. I'm in the tempo game plan here. Yeah, I'm going to waste Boseiju and make Endurance worse for them. Now they have to decide, are they going to tap their Wasteland or waste me? Courser's coming in. Get your taste. Missed a land drop. We love that. Endurance in hand, crop rotation on top. I am winning the damage race. They're on a 7-turn clock. I'm on an 8. Oh yeah, Psychic Frog helps even more. I had the brief thought of casting Psychic Frog before combat, but why would they waste me mid-combat? They could have wasted me before my turn if that was something of interest to do. Alright, now we're Bifrogging it. Having 2 frogs in play is basically cheating. We've seen what 1 does. Disruptor Flute. Well, that's probably going to name Psychic Frog, but I'll fetch Tundra just to make sure it doesn't name Flooded Strand. I think it's fine if my frogs don't get any bigger. I can either remove that or remove the Courser with Prismatic Ending. If they suddenly decide after missing multiple land drops that they should waste my white mana, then okay. Force of Will, named with Disruptor Flute. Okay, so they're trying to make something happen here with this crop rotation. Luckily for me, I've got them both. Alright, they did decide to go after the white. I will float a white. Vexing Bauble on top of the deck right now. Crop rotation, Force of Negation, pitching Force of Will. They don't get a shuffle, now they have 0 lands. 2 frogs can jump next turn. I wonder what that would have got. Were they going for like Tabernacle there? What's the plan? Now I do want to know what's in their hand. Probe you. Fastbond Endurance. Okay, so a Fastbond resolving could actually shred pretty hard. And that is not true if they don't have the Courser. End this Courser. Blue, black, white. I did some grumbling about it in game 1 when I was mulling to 5, but the mana in this deck is actually phenomenal. Ding ding. We got a rip in the chat. Yeah, I mean, you're in some trouble about it. I'm not going to lie to you. GG's. All right, cool. Fending off this, in a weird way, this was kind of like playing against Jewel Shops or Raker Shops or something like that, even though this is a completely different and unpowered deck. But the fast spawn kind of reads like my opponent's going to do something messed up on turn 1 and I need to survive that. And both games we were force checked by a fast spawn. That would have been bad news. And both games we won because we had the force. And Psychic Frog helps. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2 versus Black Dex 99. I do know a vintage player who plays on Magic Online who loves Black Dex. I don't know if this is his screen name or not, but I have this cool little toolboxy hand. I can probe to see what's going on, and then Vexing Bauble if that's good, Urza Saga if that's good, Wasteland if that's good. We'll see what's going on over there. Okay, we've got some mulligans and serum powders happening. Something, yeah, it looks like just Dredge over there. Wasteland, Vexing Bauble are both good against Dredge. I do need to get something going, though, or they will beat that eventually. Okay, they're on 5 with a bunch of stuff in exile. I'll take a closer look at that when it starts to matter. All right, show me what you're working with. Okay, Underground Sea, Vexing Bauble. I don't want them to know about Wasteland, not that they can play around it, but... Right, yep, Mental Misstep. I don't mind the Chalice. The Hollow One's coming down, then I Wasteland them. They do have to discard some number of cards here, and if the Revival goes... Alright, they discarded the Revival and the Chalice. Hollow One's in play. I do need a Swords to Plowshares. Oh, geez. Well, things changed quickly. There is one Dredger in the graveyard. I have to decide right now if I want to spend a turn Demonic Tutoring for an answer to these Hollow Ones. Okay, so if I DT right now and get Psychic Frog, I go to 10 from their attack. Then next turn I play Psychic Frog, and I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards extra to discard. That can beat Hollow One, but that is a full turn of Bazaar Field Dredging. But if I wait, man, that second Hollow One sucks ass. All right, never mind. I forgot that Mental Misstep could counter Vexing Bauble, and I was like, man, this game's over. But obviously that's not actually the case, not even close. All right, Psychic Frog in my hand, pass, and hope that one turn of dredging. They have a single Dredge 3 available. They went into their draw step, and Dredge 3 hit 2 more Dredgers. All right. Creeping Chill is bad for me. Silver Smoke Ghoul. All right, now I can't ever win. Yeah, that was an extra 3 damage. The Silver Smoke Ghoul is an extra 3 power. The Narcomoeba is an extra 1 power. Yeah, they have 8 power in play around my Psychic Frog here. And there's an Icarus in the graveyard. Yeah, that quickly went from sweet to holy shit. All right. Sideboard cards come in. Null Rod's bad. Prismatic Ending's bad. Force of Negation doesn't matter. All the spells they're going to cast that I care about are probably on my turn, if they cast spells at all. Lavinia does stop some of what they're doing, but she's a lot worse than all the cards I'm boarding in. I could probably play with 1 fewer Swords to Plowshares, but yeah, the Cheese Hollow One, not interested. Okay. This is what I'm doing. 7 cards in. Consign to Memory does counter most of the things Dredge does. Hollow One is a colorless spell, and then countering a trigger like Narcomoeba and Creeping Chill, and the way that Dredge works, you can actually counter both of those at the same time. No, I think I'm good with what I got here. I'm going to leave the Consign at home. Okay, I am going to mulligan. You do have to chase hands that actually work against the deck you're playing against. Come on, deck. There's so many good cards in here. And the Wastelands are part of the package. Oh, they kept 7. We're dead. All right, 5. Jesus Christ, 4. All right, I'll keep. Unfortunately, Containment Priest and Psychic Frog are completely different colors, which means that I can't cast Frog and Priest off of a Black Lotus plus a single land. I can cast Priest plus Demonic. I have to put 3 of these away. It's probably just land, Psychic Frog, and then I try to Demonic plus Priest to get through. All right, 1, 2, 3. If they're smart, they'll force the Lotus here. Lotus. Okay, we got away with that one. Black, Demonic Tutor. If I had mulled to 5 instead of 4, I could have a blue card to protect my Containment Priest here, but that can't happen. My options here are Ancestral Recall as a backup next turn, a second layer of protection, something like Grafdigger's Cage in case the priest dies, or I could get Tabernacle, which kills all their creatures every turn, but it doesn't stop Icarid and Creeping Chill. I could get a Wasteland and kill the Bazaar, but that only matters if they can beat the priest. I think I actually, though sometimes they bring in Wasteland, and if they waste me and my Tabernacle kills my own priest, I'm quitting Magic. So I'm not doing that. Yeah, I think I'm going to get Grafdigger's Cage. Unfortunately, Mindbreak Trap is on. If they were patient with a Force of Will, they're going to get me here. But also, if they just had like a mediocre hand with a Bazaar in it, yeah, of course not. That's not how Dredge works at all, ever. Bazaar and Grafdigger's Cage is susceptible to Grief, which they didn't have. Cataxian Probe. Show me what's going on over there. 2 Bazaars, cool. There is a Force of Vigor over there, but not a green card. Though Golgari Grave Troll's in their graveyard, so they can dredge that and then have a green card for Force if they want to unlock that. Creeping Chill works through Grafdigger's Cage. There's the second Bazaar. And there's a Troll in the hand. The ghouls can't come back. Yeah, with double Bazaar, they're really not worried about anything here. Yep. And now they're Bazaaring in my upkeep. They hit a Dredger. They didn't have one until now. Milled over another Narcomoeba. That'll bring back multiple prized amalgams. I have to draw one of my other 2 Containment Priests right now, basically. Bazaar Baghdad. You would think that's good, except that it's for sure not. I put Lurrus in my hand. Yeah, that's what it looks like when Dredge keeps 7. And the deck that's really good against Dredge most of 4. This is one of the stronger matchups for Esper Lurrus. I mean, obviously, everyone's playing Vintage, and if they have the busted Force of Will double Bazaar opening 7, what are you going to do? But I did beat this deck game 1 at Eternal Weekend in the top 8 last year. And that's something that Esper Lurrus can do. Dimir Lurrus can do it too. And they're attacking me for exactly 11 right now. Oh, and a Creeping Chill for good measure. All right. Steamrolled by the nuts from this deck. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3, which is a Lurrus Mirror of some sort. I will keep my hand with Ancestral Recall and multiple ways to protect it, and a way to play it again. I'm just going to Ancestral in their upkeep. This plays around Force of Negation and plays around discarding cards. Alright, my hand's pretty good. Undercity Sewers tapped. This does appear to be a mirror match of some kind. Wasteland that. Play Mox Sapphire. Unfortunately, the 2-color deck here catching up to me. Unable to play Psychic Frog. I think wasting them's better than Ancestraling again. It's probably close. I'm actually going to counter this with Mental Misstep. I've resolved an Ancestral. I'm pretty far ahead, and they were back on mana last turn. Alright, that happens. I have 2 draw steps to find a mana to make this Urza Saga busted, and we found it immediately. I'm not actually sure if Saga's better than Frog there, but I guess if they're going to Wasteland something, I would prefer it. Okay, got away with that one. I would prefer to have good mana the rest of the game than an Urza Saga going. Underground Sea, Psychic Frog. Now we're really playing the game. I have a Force to back it up. My next mana casts Ancestral Recall again. Right, Vexing Bauble is fine. Like whether I cast that or not, Force of Will's not in my hand anymore. And now I have the option of removing their Bauble or just resolving my Snapcaster when I know it's going to work for sure. Yeah, I think just Snap Ancestral is the play here. All right, pass with 7 in hand. None of them work under this Vexing Bauble, but I know that I can untap, remove Bauble, and then do a bunch of stuff. All right, you got your Ancestral through. I've resolved 2 of those already. Oh, they're Bug. Fun. Okay, what a twist. Bug is what they're doing. And I've untapped into Hardcast Force of Negation. I'm not going to discard any of the cards in my hand. I am going to Prismatic Ending this Bauble. I know they can just draw a card, but it unlocks everything I'm doing. All right, do I want to Brainstorm now? If I hit Orcish Bowmaster, that could get a little extra juice. No, I think it's fine. Black Lotus, Mox Jet, Lurrus. They're forcing, I'm forcing back. This is the fight. Force of Negation, targeting my Force of Will. I guess I do want to force their force, because I do have Treasure Cruise and stuff. If something's going to end up in my graveyard, we're fine here. Cool. All right. They did a good job hiding their second color for a very long time. Right, Null Rod's out. Fatal Push, Dismember, Swords of Plowshare is all in. This is just a creature matchup. We're playing Legacy. Force of Negation, not that good here. Null Rod, not that good here. They are a Lurrus deck. Having a Spellbomb in could help. Spellbomb is a draw engine that loops with my Lurrus, as well as passively impacts things like Deathrite Shaman and their Lurrus. Is the second Spellbomb better than any of my other cards? I'm pretty confident in these 4. Do I want another one? Spell Pierce, they can't have Oko because they're a Lurrus, but we are going to have little jockeys back and forth around removal and threats, likely at low resources. Yeah, I think I'm just going to stop here. This is my plan. Ooh, the mono white hand. I don't like it. Is it bad enough to mulligan? Let's actually count. We got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 black sources in the deck. And then cards that aren't black but would help here. There's 1, 2, 3. So I'm basically drawing to a quarter of my deck here, and otherwise I like what's going on. Now I'm going to mulligan. It got worse. The opponent's on 6. I'm headed to 5. Oh my god. Deck Y! 4. This is insane. I guess I have to keep at some point. Dismember works. Plow. Stock up. What's my plan here? Cheese them out with Wasteland? I guess that's it. I can dismember their first threat and then waste their lands for a while and hope the game goes longer. Probe you. Misstep, sure. Wasteland, go. They've got at least 2 lands over there. Underground Sea. Tropical Island. Collector Roof. Yep. That does attack for 2. After 2 turns, the Dismember would miss anyway. Or I will have lost as much life as Dismember anyway. Alright, here's my plan. This is just how we drew it up. They have 4 cards in hand in my 2. But I was hoping to screw them with the double Wasteland. Alright, I'm going to chase a 2-for-1 here. Like, if they use Black Lotus to cast some spell that I can then Force of Will, that's better than if I just force the Lotus. Life from the Loam. Fuck off. Alright. Force that. That was a 2-for-1, technically. If they find another green, I'm buried. That Nile Spellbomb I boarded in looking even more handsome now. Yeah, they missed a land drop finally. That card's really good if I get a land. Soul Guide Lantern, alright. That's likely to just draw a card next turn. Try to find their way out of this. Okay, the perfect 1 card of each color in my hand with no mana. There's the draw card. Urza Saga's not great for me. Haha! Wasting this Urza Saga is so much better than trying to get to 2 mana. 2 Wastelands, alright. My next land better be a good one. Nile Spellbomb. That deals with the loam if we get there. And drawing just like Mock Sapphire here is pretty sick. Okay. Important content right now. Do I Ancestral on my turn? Not playing around anything. I think I do. No, I'm just going to play the fetch land. Because they can't waste that. If they want to use both waste to flush out the fetch, then waste that what comes out of it, like if they want to get that aggressive, I invite them to do so. All right, I'm losing this land anyway. I'm going to go for the end step Ancestral. White or black more important, because I'm going to lose it whatever I get here. I have more black sources in my deck, but I also care more about black. All right, they just wastelanded immediately. I don't even know how they got priority. They shouldn't have had it there. All right, force pitching frog. That was a 2 for 3, all things in. My own frog. Fatal push drawn. Idiot magic continues. They have no land drop. I have no land drop. Uh-oh. I lose to Life from the Loam next turn. Land right now. Oh no, it doesn't matter because I can't spellbomb them. Oh god. Collector Oof, weirdly perfect, even though that card is bad against me. Alright. They win this game. By 1 turn. If I find that Spellbomb 1 turn earlier, we're actually fine. Weird game. Alright, I'm into Spellbomb more than I was. What is the last cut here? Is Vexing Bauble even important? I mean, it loops with Lurrus, so it's always a little important. Maybe Lavinia is just bad. Okay. Let's go. Maybe let's not mold a 4 for once. Okay, my hand is not a mold a 4. In fact, it's quite solid. I'll keep Lotus. I think I want to lead on Strip Mine. I don't mind if they know that's coming. Even if they play around it by prioritizing Deathrite Shaman, I have an answer to that. Just a pass from Verdant Catacombs. Bowmaster. That means I'm pumping the brakes on Urza Saga. Wasteland. Just going to go to my turn. What's the rush? I don't have to do anything here. Underground Sea, pass. Not buying Lurrus here is suspicious, but I'm okay with that. All right, I'm going to strip this Saga before it learns how to make mana. No 3-drops. Hashtag no 3-drops. Okay, a fetch is happening. Collector Oof resolves. End step Bowmaster. 1 to you. Am I still playing around this wasteland? I don't think they're just going to waste me. Prismatic Ending. I will play out a land. I don't know if they're counting Lurrus. If they're counting up to Lurrus, maybe I'm supposed to force them to use the wasteland if they're low on these resources. That's close. Like, do I think my cards are better than theirs? All right. They did use the wasteland, which is what I was hoping for. Surveil to the top. I've got a Surveil land as well. Treasure Cruise, yeah. Saga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. I could pay for a Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm. It's worth it. Gitaxian Probe. I even have a mana left over. Yeah, let's have a look. Opponent's hand is Black Lotus, Mock Sapphire, Snapcaster, Soul Guide Lantern. That Soul Guide Lantern is okay, because my Lurrus will eventually be hungry, but there's only 2 cards in that hand. Psychic Frog is a good draw. They are big enough to survive Dismember here, which is a card they've seen. Yeah, they can get it to 6, and that would be worth doing. I'll attack with my Orc Army, see if I can get them to make a mistake. They didn't make a mistake. Now some options are in front of me. Brainstorm could hit a winner. I don't think Saga Gaming's that important. My constructs aren't that big. All right, I'm going to Brainstorm. Spell Pierce, or Force of Will's bad. And I kind of want to just leave stock up on top and shuffle nothing. A Force of Will stock up, play Psychic Frog, and I'll pass. They get the first frog attack, but I'm ahead on life and every other resource. And if they go too hard on this frog, Dismember can win the game. My frog could jump and block theirs, and then Dismember wins that fight. They jump their frog, attacking me. I'll jump my frog, block, and now the fight begins, the real fight. Mock Sapphire discarded. Misty Rainforest discarded. Black Lotus discarded. And I'll let these various activated abilities resolve. They can have a 6/7 right now, which dies to Dismember. Do I want to commit anything else to this? Do I think Spell Pierce is good? It might be. Right, Dismember your Frog. They can't force this. If they've drawn exactly Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm, I'm in some trouble. If they drew Fatal Push, my Frog's dead too, but I'm ahead there. Cool. Or their Frog's just dead. Right, so I spent a Misty Rainforest dealing with their Mox and Lotus, which weren't really helping. I have a shuffle built in with the Urza Saga. Demonic Tutor, okay. A multi-turn plan here to try to deal with Psychic Frog. I don't think they can afford to get like Wasteland or anything. They probably have to get something that challenges the board. Maybe they get, I mean, if they get Ancestral and just hope to rip, Bowmaster will be a huge punish. Okay, they did just get the land. That sets up Snapcaster for nothing. This exiles Black Lotus. Makes Lurrus a little worse. I draw stock up. I shuffle away the Force on top. More mana or Spellbomb? I think I want Spellbomb. I know they have friggin' Snapcaster Mage in their hand. Okay. Stock up Seize. Psychic Frog, Wasteland, Dig Through Time. Mox and Force don't work as long as I have Vexing Bauble in play, and I'm trying to keep that in play. Guess I just want Wasteland Psychic Frog. And I'm going to attack with everything. See what I draw, and then probably waste their Tropical Island. Waste the Trop, take you off a color. Spell Pierce, even better now. I have Frog Supremacy. Okay, a desperate draw into the Bowmaster. Gotta do what you gotta do. And we did it. Cool. As long as I'm able to play the game, I feel like this is pretty favorable. My removal's better than theirs. I'm strong against Wasteland. They have Collector Oof while I have Swords to Plowshares and Lavinia. That's what our splash color is. The black is probably about the same. We even both have at least one Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, pretty similar stuff. And in a matchup where Collector Roof is not what it's about, I feel like Esper is favored. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play for round 4. I'm against Jonathan in all caps, which it's not helpful because I don't remember what they play, but I know I've played against this person quite a bit lately. I like my hand. I like it against anything except Wasteland. Underground Sea, pass. And one of the things about playing this deck is you have to pretty much accept that you are not gonna have crazy looking vintage hands all the time. Oh, Vexing Bauble. Well, that's annoying because they can actually pay for Spell Pierce. I guess I should still pierce the spell, right? Because if I force this, it's worth 2 cards. I could force Pitching Spell Pierce. That's probably the play. All right, figured it out. We got there. And then I Wasteland on my turn. Time Walk, sure. That one's less worrisome. Okay, it's Jewel Shops. Basically just Force of Will anything they play and hope they don't have the Force back. Which they do. All right, down to 1 card in hand, though, pre-Karn. Karn's making a wish. It's checking it twice. Worm Coil Engine. I do have Swords to Plowshares in my deck. I can't afford to Wasteland now. I kind of need this Orcish Bowmaster to kill Karn. If they make another wish, I'm in business. If they don't, I'm out of business. Yeah, that resolves. And Karn is plussing, unfortunately. Opponent knows what they're doing. I need to come up with both a white source and Swords to Plowshares, but I'm pretty far from dead here. There's the white. I guess I put Lurrus in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I can't actually do that. Because then I just lose to Karn. No, I can attack Karn for 1 if they just grab Lattice. Okay, no, this is fine. They need to come up with another blocker and Lattice. And Lurrus puts them in the spot where if Wormcoil attacks every turn, they get to gain 6, but I get to play Bowmaster fresh out of the kitchen. I will not block if this attacks. Not yet. This deck does have a bunch of things that it cares about drawing cards with, and having just more attackers to challenge Karn if they go for something with Karn. Like, or they can draw Tinker. That one's pretty good. All right, what's this going to do? In tinkering for something like Jewel, they'd be sending it into Bowmaster. Ring, same thing. Yeah, just another. Or they could copy Bowmaster, kill mine. Yep. That works. And I can't even rip like Black Lotus to get Lurrus going immediately because of Karn. Hitting Needle. This is name Wasteland to try to set up something for the future. Name Psychic Frog. Like, what are we doing here? Name's Wasteland. But now Karn's at 1. It'll take multiple turns before Lattice is a problem for me. Okay, I am going to fetch with my Undercity Sewer. Just give myself a chance to spike something useful off of Lurrus. This force is not it. Okay. I'm going to attack Karn. They have to block or they lose Karn. I'll take that trade while it's still available to me. And next turn, Bowmaster can come back every turn. Though the coast is clear for a coveted Jewel to hit the battlefield right now. Karn plus on nothing. Wormcoil's getting in. If their hand is blank, we're somehow doing okay here. If they have like anything, yeah, that qualifies as anything. Tezzeret's pretty strong. This could tutor a key and make Wormcoil unblockable next turn. That might be live here. Or, no, they can't, unless they have a mana in hand, they can't play and use key to untap Wormcoil. And that would, they could just untap friggin' Wormcoil with the Tezzeret directly without tutoring anything. Yeah, that's the play. Untap Wormcoil, make it a 7/7. And then next turn they can tutor for and play Manifold Key, making their 7/7 unblockable. Hey deck, this would be a great time for a Swords to Plowshares. Let me tell you. Yep, there's the untap. 7/7 Wormcoil. And now I draw Swords to Plowshares. Easy game. Flusterstorm. Flusterstorm sucks. Alright. Well, Bowmaster. Get in there. Deal 1 to their Bowmaster. At least now I can force the key if they do tutor and deploy it. And then I can block replay Bowmaster, but we are treading water dangerously thinly versus this now lethal Wormcoil. Tez is tutoring. The unblockability key. Surprise. That must be countered. Oh, they had forced blue card back. Alright, that's fine. Alright, lots of bangers. Lots of bangers coming through. Consign to Memories, Null Rods, the extra Swords to Plowshares, Fragmentize. This deck is largely about resolving bangers against me. And maybe I don't want the 4th plow. I used to cut plows in this matchup, but I don't think that's right anymore. Flusterstorm is pretty bad against them. Almost nothing they're doing is a spell. It's just Paradoxical Outcome and Force of Will. Everything else is an artifact or creature or planeswalker. Mental Misstep has very few good targets. You could spike a key here and there, but mostly not interested. I also mostly don't care what's in their hand. I would cut my basic island here if I had one. Is there time for stock up? Is there time for treasure cruise? I have to apply pressure or else I just lose. Maybe I do still shave 1 plow and hope that the 2 that are in there line up against any Wormcoil engines that might come through. So if they bring in Masticores and everything, then I'm going to want a lot of plows. Plow might be better than Prismatic Ending. Ending can hit stuff like keys, but plow can hit the things that actually kill me. All right, I'll try this. Okay, Black Lotus. Always happy to see that one. I could just turn 1 Frog Bowmaster with Force backup and hope that holds. I could also Lotus, land, pass with Force Spell Pierce up. And I'm keeping my hand. That's happening. Polluted Delta, Black Lotus. I'm going to play Bowmaster first. Sack for black, Bowmaster. If we get a fight here, I can decide if I want to Spell Pierce. Mostly don't, though. And then I'm going to get Tundra to have my mana set up and play the Frog. Okay, there's some stuff. It's on the stack or in play. There's a pause on Frog, which makes me think they have Force of Will. All right, here we go. This is as close to vintage as this deck gets. There's a Saga. Soul Ring. I'm actually going to attack their mana here. If they can't cast the bangers, then it's harder for them to have them. I'm trying stuff. I'm not sure if that's correct, but in this moment right now, I'm into it. I'm going to see what I draw before I aggressively wasteland them. All right, well, my hand doesn't do anything else, so I'll aggressively wasteland them. Wastelanding a land that only taps for 1 in this matchup doesn't feel great, but I did just counter a Soul Ring. Ancient Tomb. Defense Grid. Okay. I was done casting spells anyway. Fresh out of them. And I'm going to attack. See what I draw before I do anything else. Wasteland. We love it. That's why we wait. Wasteland you. I'm still not out of the woods. They could win at any time here with the right sequence of cards. Their deck contains plenty of ways to win from this spot. Tolarian Academy is good for 1 mana. Another Psychic Frog. I'm going to attack. 3 is a 4-turn clock. 4 is a 3-turn clock. But I can play another Frog next turn. All right, I'm just going to hit with what I've got right now. Spell Pierce is not big because they have Defense Grid. All right, second Frog. And hope I get another swing here. Especially with Academy, mana could explode like crazy here. But let's hope they just don't have it. That Soul Ring I countered, it's turn 4. That would have been worth 8 mana, plus Academy's in play for 2 turns, 10. Like, countering that Soul Ring's been worth 10 mana this game. Ancestral Recall, alright. Emergency, Orcish Bowmaster situation that also cost them the Academy. And we did it, okay. Just blasting through. Do I want to make any changes here? Prismatic Ending could take out something like a Soul Ring or a Mox or a Vexing Bauble or a Defense Grid. I might want this Prismatic Ending in. What can go to make room for it is the challenge. I like every card in my deck at this point. Is this too many Null Rods? Is it possible to have too many Null Rods? Their deck has a lot of artifact mana, but it also has a lot of land mana. You never want to draw 2 of these, but I would like to draw 1. My own Vexing Bauble on the draw is a bit worse. Okay, I think I'm going to cut my Vexing Bauble for Prismatic Ending. That makes Lurrus a little worse. It makes their POs a little better, but they're on the play. PO's the only card that really matters for that. Oof. I fail a force check, but I do have turn 1 Null Rod. I'll try it. I might just lose. I might literally lose right now. But if they develop like Defense Grid, it's probably okay. Mox, Lotus, please cast Defense Grid. Mox. Grid, 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 grid. Oh no. Mystic Forge. I don't love that one. And there it is. It has resolved. Even 1 ring there is probably okay. Land from hand. Defense Grid. Okay. Now my Null Rod's going to resolve. The gamble might actually pay off. Oh, wow. That's even better, because now I can Null Rod and kill the Mystic Forge. Or I could Null Rod and Wasteland. Am I more interested in... All right, well, I'm going to play Null Rod. That's happening, and it's going to resolve because of their own stupid card. They didn't clear the top card of their deck. They can keep running cards off the top of their deck if I leave Mystic Forge, but those cards won't work unless there's mana. Would they have played Sulphurous Springs if there was a better land? But there might be a better land on top of the deck right now. Do I just pass with none of it? I could just play Tundra and pass the turn. All right, I think I actually am going to play Tundra and pass after some consideration, because if they just, like, they didn't clear the top card of their deck knowing Null Rod was coming, which means it's a card that is at least playable under Null Rod. Manifold Key. It wasn't that one. Okay, maybe I was wrong. There's no way they just forgot to clear the top card. Something's going on over there. Spell Pierce makes me pretty happy. I'll go for the Wasteland here. If you're missing land drops, I'm going to waste you. All right. Defense Grid. Spell Pierce does not make me happy. I just have Spell Pierce, or Defense Grid blindness. Forgive me. All right. I guess I'll play out the Pearl. I'm 1 mana away from Force of Will being on. I could fragmentize my own Null Rod and unlock all my mana. That doesn't make any sense. All right, they are clearly struggling. I'm just going to buy Lurrus. I could have held up Force this turn, but I'm not gonna. Like, Tolarian Academy and Mishra's Workshop are the only good draws in their deck right now. Yeah, here this comes. All right, I'm just going to get my damage on board, and then I will worry about holding up Force of Will. Workshop, well, that's one of the draws that was good. Mana Vault's not good. Grim Monolith is not good. Okay, they have some stuff going on now, or at least the ability to do anything. And I drew a Wasteland. That feels good. Waste this douchebag. And then we've got Force of Will up now. I'm pushing real damage. They just did nothing on their whole turn. They're down to 11. They're holding on for that Academy, though. It's in there somewhere. And now I can beat it. Well, they get one turn of Academy action, and then I can do whatever. I could be doing some aggressive stuff, like fragmentize my own worthless mocks to accelerate dig through time, but I don't think I need to do anything like that. I think I just need to play Magic and not lose because I'm bad. All right, Prismatic Ending could remove Defense Grid, which makes my hand actually quite a lot better. That unlocks their counterspells on my turn, but I think we're past that. I'm going to exile Defense Grid. Now I have Spell Pierce and Force of Will available on their turn. All I have to do is not die for 2 more hits. Nox Sapphire. We're going to discard a hand side anyway. Might as well put that into play. Ooh, a Workshop. Good thing I have this Wasteland. All right, Phyrexian Metamorph. This can copy Lurrus, and I can plow that or fragmentize that. I don't care about anything else it would copy. I think this just has to be fine. Like, fragmentize is lethal here. They can cast their Black Lotus that doesn't work from the graveyard. It's fine. That's back. And we are going to win this game with the Force of Will that I started the game with still in my hand. Fragmentize Lurrus. And attack for 3. GG's. Nice. All right, cool. Defeated Jewel Shops, which is a deck that is important for me to beat. It is a deck that people like. It's a deck that's powerful. It's a deck that attracts both skilled vintage players and people who are picking up the format for the first time. And it's really important to be able to absorb this one. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. On the draw for the final round, positive record locked, playing for the bread and butter 4-1. A Lurrus Mirror of some variety. I don't really like this hand. Opponent kept 7. If they try to land go, the double Wastelands can pick that apart. As I work towards Treasure Cruise, if they just dumpster me, it's bad. I think on the play with Spell Pierce, I would hold on to this, but I think on the draw, it's just not good enough. There we go. There's some vintage cards. I'm keeping this one, and probably bottoming Vexing Bauble on the draw. On the play, I would prioritize that. If I was sure I was playing against PO, I would prioritize that, but I'm not sure of that. And with Tezzeret being in the format now, I actually think it's less likely that they're PO if Lurrus is revealed. Blooded Strand. And just a pass from that. Another Force of Will. I'm not convinced I wanted the first one. I'm going to play my land before probing, just in case I want to Spell Pierce, like if we decide to fight over this. Okay, this is clearly a mirror match where they have Urza Saga and Wasteland, where I only have Urza Saga and not Wasteland, but otherwise our cards are very similar. I guess I could Demonic Tutor for a Wasteland. Undercity Sewers in the end step. No surprise there, I'm likely to do the same thing. Dump to Treasure Cruise. Urza Saga's in the mix. Fetch, Undercity Sewer. We're basically going to play the exact same game for a couple turns. A Mox would be great. That lets me Demonic Tutor a turn ahead of schedule and even up the Wasteland score. Orcish Bowmasters I don't hate. That lets me do stuff. I will hold on to that. And now I'm going to put them in the position where it's Wasteland me or lose access to... Like, if they waste me, they can't make constructs at all. If they draw a Mox, that's not true anymore. That would be disappointing. They could also just challenge me to a Saga game where I'm behind on Saga activation. And they do have double Force, but only on my turn. They have 1 Force on their turn. If I want to use Bowmaster to pick off the first construct. Okay. They're going after my black instead of my Saga. That's fair. Or is it Bowmaster resolved without a fight? That might mean they have their own. Ooh, I don't like this. Shit. Yeah, that is the card. That is exactly the card I was worried about. All right, you got it. Mox Ruby's interesting, though, because these decks generally play the on-color Moxen. If I draw Wasteland right now, if we can even this up, or if I draw exactly Black Mox or Black Lotus, could still Wasteland this turn. I can work my way through a pair of 3/3s too. Like, that's not the worst thing that could have happened. Another Spell Pierce, not very good. I guess I'm going to Demonic Tutor right now. Gotta start casting spells. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Negation. Force of Will, pitching Spell Pierce. Sometimes these decks have a dress down in them. My build doesn't have one, but my opponent does have to think about that. Okay, I might just get Ancestral Recall here and try to load up and battle them next turn. I don't actually have anything that's just good right now. Ancestral Recall to my hand. And I have no attacks because they have a 2/2 that's about to be a 4/4. Yeah, the Mox not only lets them develop the Saga, but the constructs start 1 point bigger, which is a huge beating. They could just float, get Vexing Bauble, cast Stock Up here. That turns off their own force that we all know is in their hand, though. It'll be interesting how they handle this. They are valuing mana over another construct, though, which I appreciate. Lurrus is in hand. Well, I know I'm losing this fight over Lurrus. Does that mean I even have it? I think I do. Force pitching Pierce. They force back. Hopefully we see Stock Up go here. Because if they Lotus Stock Up on this turn as well, I'm just in the garbage. Force pitching Psychic Frog. Okay, so they are still going to stock up this turn. I don't have a main deck Nile Spellbomb to clip their Lotus. Attacking for 3. They have not... Oh yeah, if they had cast the stock up, it would have been a 2/2 in combat, and I could have had the option to trade off with it. Which I wouldn't do, but it also would just be smaller. So going to second main does do the most here. I do potentially have access to my Lurrus next turn as well, but I don't have a... Oh, I will have a Lotus to go with it. That's how tutoring works. I do have a Lotus to go with it. They're stocking up. This is 1 card that was in their hand already, and then 2 of the best 5. There's 4 of their 7 forces accounted for already. Oh, come on! That's so good! Yeah, going after the Saga is probably correct. And now Mental Misstep is live as well. I could Ancestral them, which kills Lurrus. I don't think that's better than trying to play this game myself with my own cards. Do I bother Wastelanding someone who is looping Black Lotus with Lurrus? Probably not. Okay, I'm officially behind. Oh, wow. Opponent is doing something else. There's a Demonic Consultation in this deck. What are we naming? And is your deck now in exile? I'm excited. This just took a twist. I thought I was just losing to a normal Lurrus mirror, but opponent's got the tech. They named Stock Up for Consult. Wow, that's crazy value. They exiled this many cards to get to a Stock Up. Found a Strip Mine along the way. There's a Stock Up. Let's just assess this exile. And it doesn't matter if they beat me with what's in play, but we've got 3 of their presumably 4 Psychic Frogs in exile now. 1 Bowmaster, Pearl, Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby. Okay, so they're a much more value stock up oriented build of Lurrus, but they're still not PO. That's cool. They're tooling with... So if they have more Moxen and more stock ups than I do, what does that mean for the rest of the slots in their deck? What do they not have? They probably don't have stuff like Lavinia. Okay, we got to my turn with Strip Mine unstripped. That means I can Bowmaster here before this mana's gone. Okay, 1 tier, Smelly Face. It's my favorite thing to damage. Jet and Wasteland. I still don't think Wasteland is good for me. I will get this Jet out, though, before they Vexing Bauble or something. And I'm going to pass and work my way towards Lurrus. I could attack for 2, they're not going to block, but then they have better attacks coming back my way. They attack me down to 6. There's that last Psychic Frog, that's bad news for me. And Fatal Push. I don't like that either. Hey, well, that's not bad. And I think I am going to go for Wasteland here. That makes Force of Will worse for them. Like, they can attack for 4 with Psychic Frog, put me to 2. Bowmaster triggers twice, kills Lurrus. I'm not in good shape, and I straight up lose to Force of Will, only 2 of which are accounted for in 2/3 of their deck. There's Black Lotus, Wasteland. Now they're representing Force of Will again. Alright, no attack. I'll block with my Orc Army. This means if they use their Lotus this turn, their Construct dies. Like, we can just go to damage, and that's fine. The smart thing to do would be to Wasteland me now, unless they actually need to hardcast Force and they need the Wasteland for mana. Okay, so now that thing is dead regardless. Either they use Lotus to cast a spell to interact here, or they pitch Force from hand. That was the other thing. That was the one other thing they could do that I was going to say. They got to it before me. And now if they just Wasteland me, I can't possibly win. Yep. Don't play Fatal Push. All right, you got me. Yeah, they got to their Lurrus faster. They were just 1 turn ahead of me while we were playing otherwise the exact same game. They push Plow Dismember over the 3 Force of Negations. Nile Spell Bombs to help with Lurrus. They actually have enough artifact mana that Null Rod might be actually good for me and bad for them. But I think it's still bad enough that I cut it. Yeah, I think I'm going to go 1 Spell Bomb and Vexing Bauble on the play, and then I'll switch the Vexing Bauble for a Nile Spell Bomb on the draw. And Demonic Consultation for stock up is some gangster shit. I appreciate that dedication to value. Okay, I have Bowmaster on a removal spell. I will keep, knowing that this is the mirror. We can be a little more tame. Obviously, I'd prefer to have Ancestral Recall or whatever, but what are you going to do? All right, we're just in the land go phase. I'm going to bluff Spell Pierce. Like, if I fetch, they can Ancestral with Reckless Abandon. And I'm going to hide Wasteland for now. All right, opponent does not have the same fear or respect for Ancestral that I do. Or they're just very clearly don't have Spell Pierce and don't want to tell me that they do. I kept their card on top. All right, this time I will fetch. Sewer. Time Walk. It's not very good right now, but I will want it eventually. I'm going to pass. And I'm not going to Time Walk right now. Because if I did that, that's very similar to if I just put it in my graveyard. Except I'm +1 land drop. All right, you've got a Bowmaster. I've got a Bowmaster. Alright. Second one's better than the first one. Do they have the third one? Cycling Lorien. They are just blue-black, it seems. This attack makes the most sense if you have another Bowmaster, so I'm not going to block. Yep, there's that. That kills my Bowmaster. Sometimes these decks have days. I don't think I'm going to play around that. Tundra, Plow. We did it. Now I can jam Treasure Cruise, but I can't protect it with Spell Pierce. Not this turn. If I Time Walk, that gets me into Treasure Cruise. Kind of a boring Time Walk, but I guess I will cash it in here. Resolving Treasure Cruise when the coast is clear is pretty nice. If they have something like Force of Negation here, they have to think about this Time Walk pretty hard, because it doesn't matter if this Orc Army hits them twice, but it does matter if I cast Psychic Frog afterwards, and that hits them. I don't think I'm going to Prismatic End this Orc Army. That's not my battle. Okay, Wasteland, Treasure Cruise. Unfortunately, I do have to eat the Bowmaster, even though it's good for Lurrus later, because Spell Pierce was the whole point of this line. Force pitching stock up. That's like a 10 for 1. Massive Spell Pierce beating. Cool. Well, that did what I needed it to do. Let's see if that's good enough to turn the corner and win this game. Your Orc Army's still coming in. I now have the goods in my hand. This is worth a counter, or I could just end it and take my time. All right, I'll use Prismatic Ending. Not worth a counter. Change my mind. White-blue. Cycle Lorien, get another Tundra. Keep slugging it out with the Orc Army. I'm not blocking. Mox Emerald down right before Lavinia. The Lavinia into Frog. I don't really want this Bowmaster around, but I also don't want to lose my forces when Lurrus is pending. Now, the problem is that if my plan is Psychic Frog, Bowmaster continues to beat me up here. Alright, I'll force pitching Lavinia. Got me back with the Spell Pierce beats. I think my frog will be better than their bowmaster. And I'll just hope to draw a blue card to protect my frog. I drew a blue card. Frog. I'm going to bifrog it. The bowmaster is a concern. It's like your frog's very powerful. Stock up. Wasteland doesn't bother me much. Ooh, no attack. I like that. Interesting. If I just attack with both frogs, they block one. I draw a card with the other. Orc army grows. I can't jump both frogs. I can if I discard Mock Sapphire. Maybe I just jump one frog. Alright, I'm jumping one frog. Them not attacking last turn gives me a lot of comfort to make this attack, where I would have been a little more worried about it last turn. Alright, Lurrus in hand, force blue card. Now I can chump block with a frog, and Lurrus can just replay it. Momentum breaker. If I sack the tapped frog, we're in mostly the same position. Yeah, that's fine. Tapped frog is dead. And they use their wasteland to do that. I think I just go to 4 here. Right, their speed goes up to 2. They can gain 2 life whenever they want. Now it's my turn. I won't be casting that brainstorm. That's a safe bet. Should this psychic frog attack? I think yes. I would go to 3 and I would have 2 blockers. I guess I should have seen if Lurrus resolves before I attack with this frog, but I'm committed now. I got these forces, that's what they're for. Hit you with frog. Snapcaster Mage. That can deal with the Orc army. Right, here's Lurrus. Here's frog out of the graveyard. The Snapcaster is exciting. I chump block Orc army this turn with Psychic Frog. Snap, Prismatic Ending, Stabilize. Wastelanding me now. If they had done that last turn, this line wouldn't have been possible. Fatal Push. Force Pitching Brainstorm. Their max speed goes up when I Force of Will. Ancestral Recall over the top. Ugh. Well, I don't want them to have that. I also kind of need to deal with their Orc army. This puts me to 1, which means I also can't attack with anything ever again. Alright, you can have your Ancestral. Oh, that was targeting me. God damn it, I'm just dead. I didn't even look. Yeah. Yep, needed to force that. That was a huge punt. Okay, good lessons learned here. We lost to a mirror match that was probably built extremely well for the mirror. The extra mana and stock ups, pretty nice, actually. Lost to Dredge on an insane nut draw where I mulled to 4. Had some other good games in between, scrambled some stuff back. Also just like forgetting to check the chat log to see who Ancestral Recall is targeting. Pretty big miss. That wouldn't happen IRL because they have to clearly say targeting you. But okay. This was not played perfectly, but it did feel really good. I'm not sure if I love this exact 75. I just don't totally believe in this main deck Null Rod. Especially when we're Esper, so we have access to Lavinia. That could just be something else that's more useful for the mirror match. It's not like we're bad against combo anyway. Yeah, I might fiddle with the slots a little bit, but this did feel the best. Whether you're winning or losing doesn't really matter in a testing league. It's like vibes. It's in the games where I won, did I make decisions where I won? In the games where I lost, did I make decisions where I lost? Can I identify my winning decisions and repeat them? Can I identify my losing decisions and not do them again? And I feel like I did do those things in this league. Do we need 3 Containment Priest and a Grafdigger's Cage? Do we need main deck Null Rod? These are now the questions rolling around in my head, and I'll probably tune a card or 2, but I'm pretty happy with this experience. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully by now you have seen a tournament report where I won a Black Lotus at Steel City, but if that's not true, then this is what I ended up playing. I'm out of here. I got an event to go sleeve up a deck for. Like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.